Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to my third episode of Change by Choice. My name is Charlotte Farreau, and I am a certified high-performance coach, and I own a consulting company called Thrive Consulting. I want to talk today about such an important topic, and it really just comes down to the phrase, if not now, when? And I want you guys to just take a little time right now to do a little reflecting on where you use the statement in your life. Or I guess where you actually use the reverse of the statement. Now the reverse sounds like, I'll do it tomorrow, or maybe next week. You know, it's when we're pushing things further and further away from us. Now I'm going to come at this from a few different angles. Because I think that there's different reasons why we push things away. And so as I'm going through this, hopefully you're able to jot down some notes or just, really kind of think about things, reflect on them, and see where you fall in. And it could be that you have different scenarios that fall into different places for different reasons. So the first thing I want you guys to think about is, about yourself and your health. Are you the person who puts your health first, who's constantly committed to eating well, making sure you're getting enough sleep, making sure that you're eating the right things to fuel your body and your brain properly, that you're hydrating yourself well? Or are you the person who deep down desires to be that, but for some reason, you're just always pushing it away? I'll start tomorrow. I'll start next week. Maybe the week after that. Now, with that specific scenario, there's a couple different things that can be in play. First, sometimes it's motivation. When I hear somebody talking about motivation like I just don't feel like it, or I'll wait until I feel like it, or I just don't have the energy, or I just don't have the time, to me it's something just a little deeper. Because motivation and time really come into desire. Because when you have enough desire, you do it. So my question back would always be, why aren't you worth it? Are you waiting for something to happen where you're forced into taking care of yourself better? Are you waiting for another 10 pounds? Are you waiting to feel worse? What are you waiting for? And why isn't now enough? You'll hear throughout all my podcasts, I'm a true believer that all of our choices are a reflection of our self-worth, right? And this is no different. When we choose to push the very things that can help set us free, that can help generate time, energy, freedom, peace, happiness in our life, and we keep saying to ourselves, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week, you're pushing your goals further and further away from you. Because logically we know those things are important. But for some reason, there's a gap between us knowing that and us doing that. Where do you fall in? And why isn't now the time? I want you to write that down. So another, scenario or something else that could be coming into play, with the goal being if not now, when? It could be your finances. It could be, making different choices within your relationships. It could be a job that you're holding on to that isn't serving you well. It could be behaviors and thought processes that you have about yourself or about other people. It's anything that isn't going to move you towards you living your best life and you being your best self. Now, I think we talked about last time, just, it's sometimes tough to swallow those things, to get to a place where you're like, okay, I need to be really honest with myself right now. But I promise you, nothing bad's going to happen. That's the misconception. What we're trying to do is create new thought processes around, what bad feelings are. Because what we've been told and how a lot of us are programmed are like, sadness is bad, vulnerability is bad, weakness is bad, just so many of these feelings that actually help us align ourselves with growth are viewed as bad. And so we just kind of been trained to push them away. Push them away, they don't feel good. If it doesn't feel good, I'm not doing it. Problem is, it doesn't work. And if you're wondering, if that statement's right or not, I want you to think back to any time where you've been like that and just be honest with yourself. Did it work? Probably not. And if so, message me. I'd love to hear about it. In redefining, what we need to do to be able to move forward, one thing we need to get real with is it sounds, it feels, and it looks like hard work, because it is. You're not going to meet somebody who's going to work towards, let's just use health goals as an example right now, and it not look like hard work. If it doesn't, it usually means it's a Band-Aid solution. You're still going to have to do that work at some point, but it's going to look double, triple the work that it looks like at the beginning. The point about living a life where it's about choice and change and growth is that you do the work, but as you're doing it, you're building yourself to be stronger, to have a stronger mindset. It's not about cutting corners. It's about learning how to live life on life's terms, to have true coping skills in life. So you always hear me talking about creating your happy. Well, creating your happy is within a very unstable environment, which is life. You'll never hear me say, oh, you're just happy all the time. Well, no, it's learning how to create and generate that within messy old life. And that's what we're trying to do, is actually develop the skill to make it through life and to be able to inspire other people and to create, peace and strength and courage and self-love. That also equates to being highly productive, to doing the right things and not just the easy things, to make sure that the moments in our life actually count. They count towards something that we personally desire, not other people's priorities. Talking about your own personal priorities. And for anyone right now who's like, well, that's selfish, and I'm a giving person. Well, I've been a notorious people pleaser my entire life. And when I gave up that role and I took on myself, I actually became an incredible giver on my terms, to the right people, for the right reasons. And so that's, what I want you to really think about. What molds you as you? What layers have you, that you have around yourself that hold you back from being your best self? Because those very layers are the ones making your decisions for you right now. They're the ones holding you back in fear. They're the ones being like, oh, hold on, you might fail there. Oh, that's just too hard for you to get to. Oh, you'll never make that. What are people going to think? All those shitty little thoughts in your head. That's not positioning you to live in your best life. So who's going to win the game? Your mind or your best self? It's time to start choosing the life that you want choosing the behaviors that you want to have, choosing the people that you want to have around you, choosing the goals that you're actually going to start working towards, and choosing to put yourself first and to treat yourself right. Because the sum of all of our choices ends up being how we see the people around us. So if you're looking around, you're constantly judging people and you're constantly just envious, jealous, not feeling great, you need to take a hard look as to where that's coming from. It's time to start making changes. You change you change how you see the world. You change how you communicate. You start to transform in the process, and everything around you starts to change. That's what's so amazing about this. So all those times where you're sitting back being like, I'll do that tomorrow, I'll do that next week. Why isn't it important enough to start it now? Why aren't you worth it? And if not now, when? Keep asking yourself that. You know, growth and, you know, any type of transformation doesn't just happen in a straight line, like you decide that you're going to start to change and all of a sudden it's this perfect system that starts to happen. It looks messy. It feels messy. Some days you're going to feel amazing. Other days you're going to be like, God, I just took 10 steps backwards. It is not a linear process. It's not meant to be. You're meant to be tested all the time. If you are wondering why you're attracting the same scenarios all the time, it's because you're handed the same test over and over again until you actually move through it. And then you'll still be tested. But that next time you'll probably get it, right? It'll just show up in a different job. It'll show up in a different person and a different partner. Run away, that's fine. You'll still have to deal with it. Because at the end of everything, you're the root. Wherever you go, you're with you. So again, going back to that, let's stop running away from this. Let's start dealing with it. Start having those hard conversations and start being vulnerable. Start asking for help. Why? Because you matter. You matter. And you connect to so many other people, and that matters. That's purpose. You know, if you're a parent, that's called role modeling. The stronger you are, the more work you do on you, the more that's just going to ripple onto your children. Change inspires change. Fear inspires fear. I mean, hey, tonight is, you know, a huge pillar of fear for the United States, right? It's going to be the determining factor, the vote. Fear breeds fear. Change inspires change. So which are you going to be? And I want to hear from you guys. Message me. You can find me on Facebook under Charlotte Fro Change by Choice. You can even message me personally. Go onto my personal page, Charlotte Fro. I just launched my website, www.charlottefro.com. There's tons of outlets there. I want to know where you're at. I also want some ideas for some topics. As I mentioned before, I'm going to be doing these podcasts once a week to start off with and start to build that momentum. And you never know, might start to do some more. But that theme that we talked about today, I want you guys to really take that on. You know, where, if not now, when? And dig into all the areas of your life because you matter. It really matters. Our world needs change. It does. It needs growth. We are at a time where it's just such a crucial process for us to go through. Not everyone will, and that's just part of it. Because this process is not an easy one, you know? Sometimes I think like, oh, back when I was just blissfully in denial, it just, you know, it's a little easier then. But it's not. You don't feel good. And I challenge you to start to dig in and start to dig in deep. And I challenge you to reach out, get the support system that you need. Start to do things for like a bigger cause than just because it feels good. I'm gonna eat that bag of chips because it feels good. Start to redefine what feels good and what feels bad. Because having the same life and the same thought process and looking, you know, the same way or not 5 years down the road, that doesn't feel good. That's comfortable. That's safe. It's mediocre. It's playing small. When you hear me say, are you playing small? That's playing small. You living your best life, playing big, it's a dirty game. It does not feel good, right? It is you putting yourself out there, always in a place of like possibly failing, of you know, maybe not reaching those goals, of, you know, just having to work through past stuff that comes up that's holding you back and keeping you in a place of fear. It's doing nothing for your relationships. It's doing nothing for your ability to make money. It's doing nothing for your ability to actually move forward with peace and freedom and happiness. It's keeping you caged. And that's not the point of life. You know, for this life right here, right now, however you think about it, whatever your belief system is, this is your chance. Don't live your life in a regret in the future, looking back saying, I wish I had, when you have the chance right now to start to make the changes for you to treat yourself the very best that you can. So on that, I'm leaving it on that note. And I hope that you're going to take some time to do a little reflection and expect that, you know. With my podcast, always going to come a little bit of work, right? It's, I don't want this just to be a time where you just are sitting here and listening. I want this to be a time where you're actually digging in and moving forward with some kind of action. Once you've done that reflection, ask yourself, what's one thing I'm going to change tomorrow that's going to help move me forward in the right direction? Maybe it's 3 things. Start small. You don't need to make crazy changes, you know, and completely throw yourself off where you only last for 10 days and then all of a sudden you're back to how you were. It's about setting yourself up for success. Small steps and changes so that you can build on that, feel good in the process, and you're going to want to do more because success breeds success. You set yourself up with failure, it's going to breed failure. And that person who's playing small is going to be like, I knew it. I knew you couldn't make it. But you can. You have to want it bad enough. How badly do you want it? And that is that. I hope you guys have an amazing day and stay tuned for the next episode coming up next week. And please share comments, feedback, thoughts with me. I'd love to know. And yeah, take care, everyone.